Start off, good morning and thank you for being here. Just want to take a moment to provide a brief update on recent crime trends and highlight a few major cases that demonstrate the work that's being done by our officers, detectives, and professional staff throughout the organization. On the front, some good news on crime trends. As of March 22nd, Los Angeles has seen a notable drop in crime over the past 4 weeks. Overall, combined persons and property crimes are down 16% citywide. That includes a 5.5% drop in violent crimes and an 18.6% reduction in property crimes. Homicides are down nearly 42% year-to-date, and over the past 4 weeks alone, we've seen a 68% decline across all geographic bureaus. Victims shot are down 21.8% year-to-date and nearly 31% over the last month. Robberies are down 14%, with a 16.6% drop in robberies involving firearms for the 4-week period, and burglaries have declined 21%, and auto thefts are down 14.2% again in the last month. So continue with the work we're doing, but those are, I think, encouraging stats to be able to start off 2025. We remain focused on targeted enforcement in areas seeing crime increases, including aggravated assaults. Our goal is to build on these positive trends while ensuring safety for all Angelenos. As you're all aware, we had an explosion last week in Foothill Division. Our officers and specialized teams responded swiftly to a house explosion in Pacoima. The investigation revealed an illegal fireworks manufacturing operation with dangerous chemical precursors on site. Working with the Los Angeles Fire Department, as well as local, state, and federal partners that included the ATF and FBI, a controlled burn was employed to safely neutralize the hazardous materials. Mandatory evacuations were handled effectively, and all residents have since returned home. The response showcased the growth and professionalism of our bomb squad with updated safety protocols and interagency coordination that reflect key lessons learned from past incidents. The collaboration among our fire department, our patrol units, detectives, bomb squad, ATF, FBI, Environmental Protection Agency, and our city public works partners, utility workers, Department of Transportation staff, and many other entities that came together during that event should be a source of pride for all Angelenos. We had a significant arrest on a 77th Street shooting suspect. Following a series of shootings the weekend of March 7th, officers and detectives from 77th Division identified and arrested a suspect suffering from mental illness who targeted random victims. A combination of community tips, air support, forensic testing, and digital evidence led to the swift arrest without further violence. The suspect has confessed, and the case remains under investigation. On the burglary crews that we've talked about so frequently, on March 22nd, officers from Metropolitan Division arrested a burglary crew responsible for a string of break-ins across the San Fernando Valley. Through surveillance, coordinated tactics, and real-time intelligence, officers intercepted the suspects in the act, recovered stolen property, and linked them to multiple additional crimes. The operation also led to the seizure of a stolen firearm. After this serial rapist arrest, a suspect's name, Andre Cobbs. After a February 19th assault, detectives identified and arrested Andre Cobbs, now linked by DNA evidence and victim accounts to at least 13 cases across multiple jurisdictions dating back nearly 20 years. He was charged earlier this month with multiple felonies, including rape and robbery. This ongoing investigation reflects our unwavering commitment to holding violent offenders accountable and seeking justice for survivors. These cases highlight not only the remarkable skill and dedication of our officers and detectives, but our department's commitment to public safety, innovation, and continuous improvement. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have there.
Chief, do you have any info on the burglary crew? Where exactly they were arrested? Was this commercial burglary?
I can get back to you with more details on that. They were residential burglaries, and they were the most common cases we've seen are on the west side and in the San Fernando Valley.
And then, so you were saying the burglary down, I believe you said 21% over the last few weeks. I know last week when we talked about crime stats from the year before, burglaries was flat, but to see this type of change, you were attributing targeted
Yeah, last week I think robberies were flat. Burglaries, we've seen that decline, and with the proliferation of the burglary crews throughout the region that have gotten a lot of attention, we're happy to be able to report a decrease in that as well. We continue to target the crews that we're aware of and use all the methods that we can to be able to try and take them into custody, and that's an ongoing process.
Does that include the Encino burglaries that have been happening over the last year or so?
Yeah, yep. Yep. I'm not sure if the person I talked about were responsible for the Encino burglaries, but that's part of the burglary crew crime efforts that we're focused on.
Have you received, or LAPD received, any requests from ICE to work with ICE on immigration enforcement?
Yeah, we don't work. I mean, we talk to our partners at DHS, FBI, ATF all the time on a variety of different things. They're very clear on what our policy is and has been since 1979, that LAPD does not participate in civil immigration enforcement, and they know where we stand on that, and that's pretty clear.
So they've asked you?
They have not asked us to participate in that we, and I'd like to thank you for the question, because I know there's a lot of anxiety in our community, and I want every chance I get to be able to help calm those anxieties. People will see ICE enforcement potentially going on in the streets, and when they do, they may see LAPD police cars, black and whites, at the scene. Whenever you have an incident where there's people running around with guns, you know, in this case agents, doing something, people will call 911 and report that, and we have an obligation to go out and make sure that the community is safe. If agents from any entity are arresting somebody and it's a violent felon, there's always the potential for violence. Our hope is to be there, evacuate if appropriate, and to make sure that the surrounding community is safe. We don't participate if what they're dealing with is civil immigration enforcement.
So is that your message to the immigrant community as a whole?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That they have no fear of reporting being a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime or participating in the criminal justice system. LAPD is not focused on civil immigration enforcement.
Chief, I wanted to ask you about the pursuit report, which shows that chases are up. A lot of them are for stolen vehicles, which some jurisdictions don't chase or pursue anymore. Have you given any thought to changes to the department's policy?
Yeah, you know, our top priority is ensuring the safety of everybody's lives on the streets, because pursuits are inherently dangerous. We try and balance the safety of the community with the need to take that suspect into custody. If there are alternative ways of identifying them and where they're going to go and be able to arrest them at a later date more safely, we do that. Excuse me. And as the pursuits are going on, we're constantly reevaluating where are we on this. What are the conditions of the road? What are the number of people in the street at the time, based on the time of day? Are they near school zones? All of these types of things. Are they on city streets or are they on the freeway? And the officers in the car potentially could terminate the pursuit at any time, and that often happens. Supervisors who are involved in the pursuit also frequently terminate the pursuits, and the watch commander at the station always will listen to the pursuit and sometimes terminate it if they feel the conditions are too dangerous. Now they have the additional ability to be able to sign on and get into the in-car video system in that pursuing vehicle to be able to watch the pursuit in real time and make their assessments and management decisions as to whether to continue or terminate the pursuit. So at every stage of any pursuit, we're watching what's happening and trying to weigh that balance of public safety versus the need to take that suspect into custody. So we're not looking at any blanket changes right at this point. But we're continually reassessing where we are to do what I mentioned is to strike that balance. Thanks, Libra.
You've also talked about you're waiting on the results of this RAND study, basically top-down assessment of the department. Have you started to think about your priorities for the LAPD, or what sort of changes you'd like to make?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we as I moved into this job, one of the things I said when I took it was that my first 3 months would be look, listen, and learn, to see what's going on, to catch up for being away from this organization for 15 years, to learn the players internally, and to be able to learn the priorities of the various communities that we serve. we're a different department in that our deployment is less than it was a relatively short time ago. We're down now to 8,700 and some officers from over 10,000 at one point, and our civilian support staff, professional staff, are down pretty dramatically as well. We're undergoing tough or very difficult financial times, so to be able to look forward to any major increases in deployment at this stage is very questionable. And so as we move forward, I want to try and streamline the organization in a way where we focus on our primary focus, which is responding in the field to radio calls, calls for service, to be able to help support that with a robust detective function, investigative function to follow up on those, and still be able to do all of the training and the other things that we need to do, our intelligence functions, our counterterrorism functions, and in preparation for what we have coming down the road as well with the major events coming to Los Angeles. So there's a lot of things going on. You mentioned the RAND report. I want to be able to see the final on that. And then also we have internal working groups that are looking at a variety of different topics in an effort to be able to come up with some suggestions for best practices and be able to reevaluate the way we've been doing business versus what we may look to do moving forward. So I ask for people's patience internally, in particular, in as we move forward, because I want to be able to get it done as well as we can rather than as quick as we can.
Two quick follow-up questions. You talked about streamlining the organization. Does this mean like shuttering certain units or reducing some of your operations? Also, there's a lot of talk about this being a very top-heavy organization, a lot of managers, mid-managers.
Yeah.
Is that something you're going to address? And then secondly, you brought up the issue of the city's sort of financial straits. Do you think the LAPD bears any sort of responsibility in helping the city sort of righting the ship, so to speak? Like, are you going to have to make any sacrifices?
I think everybody will be making sacrifices. We're all part of the city family, and I think we all have a responsibility to be as efficient as we can. We always try and balance efficiency with the effectiveness and trying to be able to do the job as leanly as we can, and we're as lean an organization, I think, as you'll find in the United States. I often talk about some of the major cities in America have a 4 to 4.5 officer to population ratio. Fully deployed LAPD weighs in about 2.5 per thousand. So we're a very lean organization to begin with, and now with the attrition that we've seen, we're even tighter on resources. So as we move forward, we'll be looking for ways to do the job as well as we can. Hopefully we'll continue to see the reductions in crime that we're seeing. It's amazing what our folks are able to achieve with so few of them out there, to be very honest. And by working together with the community, I think we've seen some major results, looking at things a little differently than traditionally we have, where we don't not only look at enforcement and holding people accountable that way, but also to work with community-based organizations and other community groups to be able to try and figure out a different way to address the problems and end up with some pretty good results. The first part of your question you asked about
Streamlining your organization.
yeah. Again, just looking for ways. I'm not looking to do away with. We're no longer going to investigate this crime or that crime. I don't want to go down that road at all. My hope is that we can, if we're going to streamline and resources such an issue, that we have units start taking on responsibilities in a more broad way, and not quite as specialized maybe as we have been in the past. So that's something that's on the table, but I certainly want to get not only the RAND study, but input from the people who are doing those jobs today to be able to find the best way to be able to address all crimes, hold people accountable for preying on other people, but to do it with more limited resources.
Next question.
Chief, you said the ability for supervisors to look at the onboard cameras during a pursuit. How recent is that?
Don, do you know?
6 months?
Yeah. 6 months for everybody on.
And then, in terms of the Palisades, are there still issues that you're running into with either like burglaries or, having to keep officers deployed in areas to protect the homes that are
Yeah.
still standing but don't have residents living there?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, we still are deployed there. We have about 50 officers a shift up either at the command post overseeing how the operation works or actively patrolling the area, manning checkpoints. It's still a closed area. It's still a dangerous area. We're supplemented by officers from the California Highway Patrol who've been tremendous throughout this, and the California National Guard who have dedicated 300 or so of their soldiers to this effort over now a very extended period of time, and we're very thankful to have their assistance.
Any last questions?
I wanted to ask you about a comment that Commissioner Sanchez Gordon made last week's meeting. She was talking
Yeah, I can't hear too well.
a comment by Commissioner Sanchez Gordon, possibly at last week's meeting. She was talking about the comments made by recruitment officers, sexist,
Yep.
racist, homophobic comments.
Right.
She said she was kind of struck by this, that the fact that these officers were non-white, and it suggested that maybe it was that this culture was sort of embedded within the LAPD. Do you agree with that sentiment? Is that, and if so, is there anything that you're going to do to root that out?
Yeah, thank you for that. When you look at what happened there, we were appalled by it when we heard the tapes and saw the transcripts from them. And it doesn't matter what demographic the officer fits into, what it's misconduct and its behavior that should not be exhibited by any Los Angeles police officer. And somebody who's in a role of recruiting new people to come on the job, certainly particularly offensive in that way. What we're doing is setting the tone very clearly. We do that throughout our training, throughout our selection process, and then in an ongoing way through our systems of accountability. In this case, when we became aware of it, we immediately made the notifications to the commission, to the inspector general, to the mayor to let them know what was happening. I then pulled out all of the involved officers and assigned them to home without police powers while the investigation was being done. And so I think that sent a very clear message that we do not tolerate this type of behavior at all, and we'll take it very seriously. The investigation will move forward expeditiously. We want to be able to close this chapter on that. I think the tone being set is one that is very clear to everybody.